Life Audio.
Dennis Prager.
Do you have a question you've always wanted to ask Dennis Prager? Well, now's your opportunity. For upcoming Ask Me Anything episodes of Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager, we're inviting you to leave Dennis a voicemail. He'll personally answer selected questions, and your question could be featured on a future episode. Whether it's about faith, morality, politics, history, relationships, happiness, or simply navigating life, Dennis would love to hear from you. Just call 877-243-7776 and leave your question. Oh, and be sure to include your first name and where you're calling from. That's 877-243-7776. While we can't feature every question, Dennis will listen to every voicemail. So call today. You may hear Dennis Prager answering your question on an upcoming episode of Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager. And thanks for listening and supporting Dennis Prager. On today's episode of Timeless Wisdom.
You know, when I think about my stuff, I think in terms of Ecclesiastes. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm just a guy who's articulating timeless principles, one of which is that self-denial is good for the soul. And a child learns to deny himself by being denied. And the very unfortunate thing is that today's parents don't deny, vitamin N being no, the most character-building two-letter word in the English language. And today's kids are not being denied. The temper tantrums that young people are throwing all over America because what they wanted to happen didn't happen.
That's coming up on Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager.
Life can be messy, but you don't have to figure it out alone.
Hey, it's the Luskos.
Join pastors and best-selling authors Levi and Jenny Lusko on Hey, It's the Luskos for honest conversations about faith, marriage, family, grief, ministry, and all the unexpected moments in between. You'll laugh, you'll be encouraged, and you'll be reminded that God is faithful through every season.
It will always come back to Jesus in the end.
That's right. Tune in to Hey, It's the Luskos with Levi and Jenny Lusko. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager. Hear thousands of hours of Dennis's lectures, courses, and classic radio programs. And to purchase Dennis Prager's Rational Bibles, go to DennisPrager.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dennis Prager. Welcome to my show. I have on a man whom I respect greatly. I don't remember when I first came across his work, but it was a great moment because the man has one of the rarest. What is rare? Let's see. Courage is rare. Intellectual honesty is rare. And wisdom is rare. And I think he has all three. But it's the wisdom that I'm really focusing on. He's John Rosemond, family psychologist, and who has a column and who's written 14 books, I believe. He's now working on one on the children and in Madagascar. He has run out of topics after 14, and so he's really now pretty much concentrating on micro subjects.
Coming of age in suburbia.
That's right. Yes. Oh, is that right? Is that what you?
No.
Oh, you mean in suburban Madagascar? Right.
It's a great idea, though.
Thank you. I just want you to know this is a sort of tactic of mine to see if the person I'm about to interview is listening. I throw in some absurdity, and if there's no reaction, I know, this is going to be a problem interview.
Yeah,
anyway,
he's doing his nails.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's right. Checking his email. Exactly. This is John Rosemond, and John Rosemond has the latest Prager University video, and it's already at 1.5 million views in 2 days or 3 days. I guess it goes up Monday, so I guess it's 3 days, 2.5 days. In any event, I try to be precise, and sometimes it drives people crazy. And is your child getting enough vitamin N? And I want to just tell you folks, because I think you'll find this of interest. John, you will find this of interest. There is, I am a religious person, and in Judaism, there is a very famous statement in the Talmud, the second holiest work after the Bible, and that is that whoever cites a source brings redemption to the world. It's a beautiful phrase because it says you must never take credit for something that you don't own. So I have cited vitamin N in almost every speech I have given about children. And of course, every single time I say this is from Dr. John Rosemond. I want you to know that, and I want the audience to know that, because I consider it a brilliant insight. Vitamin N. Well, you tell everybody, what's vitamin N?
Well, first of all, Dennis, you honor me and you humble me at the same time. I'm so grateful for our friendship. I mean, I really and truly am. You've been an inspiration to me, and it's an honor to know that I've been a source, if you will, for you.
Well, thank you. It's a mutual. Thank you.
You know, when I think about my stuff, I think in terms of Ecclesiastes. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm just a guy who's articulating timeless principles, one of which is that self-denial is good for the soul, and a child learns to deny himself by being denied. And the very unfortunate thing is that today's parents don't deny, vitamin N being no, the most character-building two-letter word in the English language. And today's kids are not being denied. And to tie this into current events, as I was thinking about this show, I was thinking in terms of the temper tantrums that young people are throwing all over America because what they wanted to happen didn't happen over the last couple of weeks.
That's exactly right.
Last week.
It's totally tied in to your theme, the video, and your general theme. Oh, it didn't go my way, and I will have a temper tantrum. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to ask you a question, because this, to me, is as interesting as the concept itself. When I grew up, and I believe that I represent most people of the baby boomer generation, although that may not be true. Now that certainly my parents' generation and every generation before them. Let's start with my parents. Telling a child no was natural to parents. It stopped being so. What happened?
Well, I think it was not only natural. I think it was something parents understood to be an obligation. Because these parents, prior to the psychological parenting era, which began in the mid-1960s, had what I call a wide-angle view of parenting, Dennis. They understood that their obligation was not just to the child, which is what today's parents believe. Parents in our parents' generation, to some degree, although it had become considerably diluted and weakened by the time we began having children, understood that proper parenting is an act of love for your neighbor. And they understood, as a consequence of that wide-angle view, that they had an obligation to send out into the world, into the community first, and into the world, children who were accepting of reality. One such reality being, as articulated by the great 20th century philosopher Mick Jagger, you can't always get what you want. And it was felt as an obligation that you tell your child no, because this was a reality of life. And furthermore, it was understood that this is the way you produce a well-socialized, highly motivated individual.
Okay, so what happened?
Who understands that there is no such thing as a valid entitlement.
Right. What happened?
Yeah. What happened is that the 1960s came along, during which time we became a progressive postmodern culture, and the psychological community, the new parenting experts, began manufacturing these nouveau postmodern parenting memes, one of which is that children have a right to express their feelings freely. And so for the first time in parenting in any generation, in any culture, parents began to believe that children's emotional outbursts had meaning. And
I want that to sink in to my audience. There are times when I visualize what a person is saying, and I'm thinking, are people understanding that this would come in italics? So why don't you say that again? For the first time, people. Let me repeat it so I can memorize it. For the first time, parents started believing that children's
at any time. Emotional outbursts had meaning.
So
that they had some sort of valid content that needed to be deciphered.
What is such an important.
So what was previously, as we are told in the Bible in Proverbs, thought to be nothing but emanations of the foolishness bound in the heart of the child, was suddenly given credence. And one of the questions I ask my audiences is this: raise your hand if, when you make a decision that your child doesn't like and your child reacts very emotionally to, you believe that on the basis of your child's emotional reaction, you may have made the wrong decision. And
wow.
It is amazing, Dennis. I would say 80% of the people in my audiences, and that's a conservative estimate, raise their hands. And this is what's happened to American parenting since, ironically, American parents began listening to people like me, people with capital letters after their names, tell them how to raise kids.
Well, that's part of my that buttresses my belief that college makes you stupid and graduate school makes you stupider. Because
I heard an interview yesterday with somebody, I forget who it was, who said, how can these universities be so stupid? You pay all this money to go to these places that make you dumb. Yeah,
that is exactly right. I'm speaking, everybody, to John Rosemond, the nationally famous, and for all I know, internationally famous family psychologist. He has many terrific books. You should absolutely look at them, and hopefully get some of them. And in any event, his video is the latest Prager University course. Is your child getting enough vitamin N? There's a rare opportunity for you to talk to him if you'd like to call. This is how children should be raised, for their sake, for your sake, and for society's sake. You are listening to the Dennis Prager Show, 1-8-PRAGER-776.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
For nearly 3,000 years, Homer's The Odyssey has shaped Western imagination. It tells the story of Odysseus as he faces monsters, shipwrecks, false comforts, and impossible choices on his long journey home. As one of the foundational works of Western literature, Homer's epic is more than a mythology. It explores permanent questions about courage, duty, loyalty, family, leadership, temptation, and the search for home. In one of the epic's defining moments, Odysseus rejects the offer of immortality from the goddess Calypso, choosing instead the long and difficult journey home. His decision reveals one of the central themes of the Odyssey, that a life of duty, family, and home is greater than a life devoted to comfort or glory. Achilles chose glory, Odysseus chose home. That's why Hillsdale College has released its newest free online course, The Odyssey. Taught by Professor Benedict Whalen, the course reveals why Homer's masterpiece remains one of the greatest works of Western literature. Find this free course at charlieforhillsdale.com. That's charlieforhillsdale.com. Read the classics, study the West. The Odyssey from Hillsdale College. Go to charlieforhillsdale.com.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
I'm speaking to John Rosemond, one of my favorite people and a magnificent, wise psychologist. His video is up at Prager University. Is your child getting enough vitamin N? Vitamin N is his terrific term for the word no. I was watching yesterday, and in passing, I don't get to see much TV, but it was on in the family kitchen in a little TV, and Bill O'Reilly had two students on from two different universities, and after they were talking about all of the protests and what they're about, he asked each of them, one female, one male, And he said, so are you for open borders? And the female says, I have no comment. And the male, he was from Tufts. I don't remember where she was from. And the male said, she said, I don't wish to comment on that. And he said, well, you know what? I really haven't studied the issue. So they're complaining about cracking down on illegal immigration, but they won't say what their position is on open borders. I can't, it's like, I want to talk to you about what 2 and 2 is, but I won't talk to you about 1 and 1 is. And I just thought you'd find that interesting. It's all emotion. And I think it's rooted in the not being told, no, your emotions can't direct your life. Any thoughts?
That's romanticism come to full flower. The individual being driven by feelings, and the feelings are such that they can't even explain them. They can't articulate why they feel the way that they do. They just feel the way that they do, and they have a right to feel the way that they do. And so...
but I don't have a right to say you're wrong.
Yeah, right. And any evidence to the... Because, Dennis, as you well know, when you are driven by emotion, you are by definition not intellectually honest. And it doesn't matter to this generation of young people what the facts are. They're not even interested in the facts. That's why, in my estimation, the girl has no opinion and the guy hasn't studied the issue enough, but they'll get out in the street and they'll scream and yell about the fact that Donald Trump is not for open borders, but they don't understand the issue at all. It's just another opportunity to vent their sacred emotions.
Life is not ideal, and I will have a temper tantrum.
Yeah, but to this generation has been nurtured in a way that causes them to believe that life has no meaning if life has no soap opera. And so this generation of young people takes every opportunity to manufacture personal soap operas and collective soap operas out of the mundane.
That's so true. It's the drama queen generation, produced by the parents and by the culture. There are so many people who have questions for you, and since it's so rare to get to have this opportunity for people, I'm going to go to some calls. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so again, I have the family psychologist John Rosemond on, and we'll go to Los Angeles and Miriam. Miriam, hi. Dennis Prager and John Rosemond.
Hello, Miriam.
Mr. Prager.
Hi.
I've been listening to your show a lot, and Mr. Rosemond, I saw your video of vitamin N. I showed it to my husband the other night because he believes, if we should provide the technology and whatever, the kids need to, excel in school. And I told him we can't give them everything all the time. So I showed him the video. And lo and behold, this morning we had a disagreement because I find out that he gave my kids $1 to make their bed. And I was so upset about it. And I said, didn't we just, I showed you this video and, it made so much sense. And, I just want to get a different perspective. Am I upset to be wrong at him? I don't believe, he said, I like to reward good behavior. And I said, but that's their responsibility. That's their duty. It's not, they're not supposed to get paid for making their bed. He's like, yeah, but it was just $1. I said, it doesn't matter.
All right, I'm as curious as you are to hear John Rosemond's response. Go ahead.
Well, I hate to take sides in these family disputes, Miriam, but it's more than an issue of responsibility. It's an issue of obligation. And that's what today's kids are not being taught within their families, is any sense of obligation to their parents or their families. And your husband's very well-intentioned behavior is an example of that. I was in Hawaii about a year ago, and I was doing a workshop, and a fellow came up and introduced himself as a submarine commander. And he said, John, this entitlement attitude has even infected the military at the level of submarine command, which is the most demanding of all military jobs. That's arguable, but it's probably true. And he said, these young people who qualify for submarine work, they don't understand that they have been given a privilege. I tell them to do something, and they basically ask me, what am I going to get if I do it?
Wow.
This is the biggest problem. He said, this is the biggest problem I deal with in submarine command.
His answer should be, you get to stay on the submarine.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
To stay on the submarine. Precisely. But isn't that mind-blowing?
Yeah, no, that is where did you hear this?
In Hawaii from a submarine commander.
Oh, I see. Okay, great. Oh, you were speaking at your workshop in Hawaii.
Yeah.
All right. I want to bounce off a theory. When I asked you why this is happening, and your answer was superb, and I agree, is another possibility, and we just take a break and then we'll hear your response, is another possibility that parents want to be loved by their children at every moment of their lives. We shall be back. I'm speaking to the psychologist John Rosemond. His video course is up at Prager University.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
Hey, y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with Echo. It's a new platform, not just streaming.
Movies and series that are safe for your family.
Echo. I love a podcast.
Plus, Echo Daily Devotionals.
Echo. Hey, Willie, what is Echo?
Echo is my pet squirrel.
Okay, now, Echo is not just faith-friendly, it is faith-driven.
Be a part of something better.
Echo.
Echo.
That's where I want to be.
That's EKKL.com.
Subscribe now.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
Well, I have the man on in not even 3 days. They got 1.5 million views on YouTube and Facebook, and it'll go into the millions. And as it should. If every parent saw this, we would have a better America and a better world. Vitamin N is the word no. And it's the one vitamin kids don't seem to be getting, and it's been at least a generation. So I asked you a question, and then, by the way, I want to comment on Miriam's call about the paying for the kid $1 to make the bed. But I wanted you to respond to this. When I asked you why this has happened, the coddling, and you gave this excellent response about needing to validate every emotional outburst. So is another possibility that parents want to be loved too much and too consistently?
Yeah, well, it's not. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Oh, you can, by the way. No. I just want you to.
Well, I know I can.
Okay. Go ahead.
I know I can, but
right.
I'm not. I just want to make that clear proactively that I would change the word to like, because I think there is a substantial difference. I think that today's parents want to be liked by their kids. And one of the things that I talk about quite often in my books, newspaper column, and public presentations is that over the last 50 years, since we began listening to psychologists tell us how to raise kids, and this is largely an artifact of the psychological parenting paradigm, parents have substituted the desire for relationship with their children for the obligation to provide leadership to their children. They don't understand anymore that proper parenting is an act of leadership. They believe now that it's an active relationship. And as a consequence of this, Dennis, the norm in American parenting, especially in the mother-child relationship, has become codependency. Today's parents, when there's no emotional boundary between parent and child, and especially mother and child, when the child feels something, the mother feels it. The child fails, the mother feels that she has failed. The child is bullied, the mother feels that she's been bullied. The child gets upset about something, the mother feels that herself to be in a state of angst. And so the consequence of this is that there is lacking in the life of the average American child someone who will represent reality correctly to the child, someone who will say when the child has a inappropriate emotional outburst, which 90% of children's emotional outbursts are inappropriate, that this is ridiculous, this has no bearing on anything, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You and I are members of the last generation of American parents, of American children, whose parents felt the obligation to discipline not only our behavior, but to discipline our thoughts and our emotions as well. And today's parents only, this is another topic entirely, but they think of discipline strictly in terms of behavior. And so today's children don't think straight, and they don't feel straight either.
That's so fascinating. I tell people, they say, where did you learn how to speak? And, because people, at least people, well, many people, obviously not all, but many people feel that I have a lot of clarity in my thought, and I do believe I do. And I think it's both a gift from God or nature, and I also believe that I learned it at the dinner table in my house, where I was the youngest of the two boys by 6 years, and they didn't care. If I said something incoherent, they said, "What are you talking about? That's nonsense." And so I got at a very early age a voice in me saying, "Is that nonsense? Did you just say nonsense?" So I so understand what you said. I just want to return to Miriam's point on the dollar for making the bed. One possible response, I would think, is also, in addition to yours, is because I want, as you pointed out, the father, the husband, has only goodwill here. But one possibility is that I'll give you $1 for making the bed, and you pay for the food. I'm obligated to feed you. You're obligated to make your bed. We'll get John Rosemond's response in a moment.
Are you enjoying Timeless Wisdom? We'd love to hear from you. Call 877-243-7776 and leave a review, share your thoughts, or just even an encouraging word for Dennis. Your voicemail might just make it on the show. That's 877-243-7776. That's 877-243-7776. Thanks for listening and for your support.
My guest is the terrific John Rosemond, the family psychologist, gives these seminars around America. And he has the latest Prager University course up, Is Your Child Getting Enough Vitamin N? That's the word no. So I had raised the issue of perhaps saying, well, if we pay you for making your bed, you pay us for room and board. Because as a way of explaining to the kid, although from your perspective, and I agree with you, explanations, I assume, are not always necessary. This is what you do. You have a bed, make it. But nevertheless, it would be an interesting way of explaining, I have obligations to you, and you have obligations to the family. Is that fair?
Today's parents, they lack confidence in the legitimacy of their authority, Dennis. That's why they don't feel that they have the right, if you will, to tell their children this is what you're going to do. And then when the child asks why, answer with because I said so. You don't need another explanation. You know, you're on the dole here. I pay for your life. I am not obligated to justify any decision that I make in your life. I am not obligated to justify any instruction I give you. And, you know, parents say, oh, that's mean, that's, that's heartless. I say, it's very, very traditional. And the interesting thing is that the mental health of children who heard that, our generation, Dennis, is statistically 10 times better than the mental health of today's kids who don't hear that. So I'm not saying our mental health as children was entirely dependent upon because I said so, but I am saying that it was dependent largely upon a clarity that existed in our relationships with our parents and other adult authority figures during our childhoods.
Milwaukee,
which is lacking today.
Yes, totally. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Vince. Hi, Vince. You're on with Dennis Prager and John Rosemond. Hi.
Hello. I would just like to know how the doctor would recommend countering behaviors like this when you're dealing with a situation where somebody has told the child that they have anxieties and dealing with those issues like that. How do you, the things that are used as an excuse. And so I'd like to hang up and listen to your comments.
Okay.
Well, I don't know who it is that's told your child, Vince, that he has anxieties, but this is, there are certain anxieties that are legitimate. Certain anxieties are the result of legitimate trauma, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I use the word legitimate because a lot of what people, and especially young people, are claiming to be traumatic is by historical, traditional, rational standards not traumatic at all. It's just that we've raised a generation of children who have no emotional resiliency. But
forgive me, that's why they have safe rooms at colleges.
Yeah, that's why they're giving them therapy dogs and letting them curl up in corners and suck their thumbs collectively and so on and so forth. It's just absurd what has happened to today's kids, and tragic at the same time. I mean, a lot of what I talk about when I talk about today's kids can be interpreted as criticisms, and really, I'm not criticizing today's children. I'm trying to help American parents understand that our obligation to God and America is to raise competent human beings. And competency is largely a fact, not of your IQ. It's largely a function of your emotional resiliency. And the manufacturing of personal soap operas, such as I have test anxiety, is rampant in American youth culture today. I hear this. My child has test anxiety. I had to pass a written exam on the United States Constitution in the 8th grade in order to go to high school. I mean, talk about test anxiety. Today's kids don't understand what test anxiety is. Anything that provokes a little distress is suddenly a reason to go to a therapist. It's absurd.
Yeah. Think of distressed parents as a vaccine. I think it's an analogy that works for me in any event. All right, let's go on. Let me summarize some calls, and callers, please forgive me. I'll try to get to some, but I get more done if I do this. So let's see. Aaron in Los Angeles makes, I think, a very important point. In such a wealthy society, people find it harder to say no to kids. They already have so much. Any thoughts on the affluent society?
Well, but it's not just affluence, Dennis. It's what you raised earlier, and that is that today's parents, number one, they want relationship with their children. Another way of looking at this is that they have no long-term vision. It's very interesting when I ask parents to write down 10-word and phrase description of the adult they want their child to be when their child is 30 years old, they always write down things like emotionally resilient, compassionate, responsible, good sense of work ethic, et cetera. But when I ask, what have you done specifically, purposefully in the last week to promote any...
Oh, good. I want to hear that. This is awesome. John Rosemond, my guest, back in a moment.
This episode of Timeless Wisdom will continue right after this.
Hey, y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with Echo. It's a new platform, not just streaming.
Movies and series that are safe for your family.
I love a podcast.
Plus, Echo Daily Devotionals.
Echo. Hey, Willie, what is Echo?
Echo is my pet squirrel.
Okay, now, Echo is not just faith-friendly, it is faith-driven.
Be a part of something better.
Echo.
Echo.
That's where I want to be.
That's EKKL.com.
Subscribe now.
Now, back to more of Dennis Prager's Timeless Wisdom.
I could have John Rosemond on for all 3 hours and then do it again tomorrow and then the next day. The only problem is he's going to send me a bill.
I would not do that.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm glad you... No. I was important.
I'd love that.
I would love it, too. John Rosemond, his books should all be read, and his video is up this week, and, of course, obviously, forever at the PragerUniversity.com, and it's already past 1.5 million views. And I believe it's a moral obligation for people to have people raising children see it. Anyway, you have this brilliant thing that you were just saying. Almost everything you say is so sharply focused. So you ask parents, what would you like your child to be at 30? And then you ask them, so what have you done this week in order to foster that? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to illustrate to them that intuitively they really do want to raise their children according to what we are told, what God tells us in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6 and 7, to paraphrase that it's all about your child's character. I tell parents all the time, Dennis, God does not care what your child's grades are in school. God does not care how many trophies your child wins on the athletic field. God does not care what college your child goes to. God wants you to raise children who love Him, and that is all about character. And I tell people, there are two pressing obligations in the raising of a child. One is to honor God, and the other is to make America a better place. And so as part of this whole diatribe that I do, this whole exercise, I have people write down a 10-word and phrase description of the adult they want their child to be when their child is 30. And interestingly enough, every descriptor is a descriptor of character. Nobody puts in there, I want my child to be the governor of California.
Or brilliant. Or even brilliant.
Nobody puts that down. It's all character. And I say, okay, now that you understand what your job is, and you understand that you intuitively know what your job is, vis-a-vis this exercise, write down something. I'll give you 5 minutes. Tell me one thing you have done purposefully, intentionally, to promote any of these character values in the last week.
All right, we got to leave it at that. That's awesome.
And people can't do it.
That's right. That's exactly right. See his video. Go to his website. It's at DennisPrager.com. You see his website. Read his books.
Thanks so much.
I give you a big hug, sir.
Likewise, returned. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please see the video and give your child vitamin N.
Tomorrow on Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager.
The missing tile syndrome is when we focus on the one thing we don't have. No matter how much you have, you focus on what is missing. I do too, by the way. It's not when I say you, I am a member of this group of humanity. If I didn't have these issues, I couldn't have written my book. That book was as much about me as it is about you. The only difference is I've thought it through, and I have tried to put these principles into practice, and they work.
Join us tomorrow to hear more on Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager. Visit DennisPrager.com for thousands of hours of Dennis's lectures, courses, and classic radio programs, and to purchase Dennis Prager's Rational Bibles. We want to take just a second to thank the team at Life Audio for their partnership with us on the podcast. Go to lifeaudio.com to find dozens of other faith-centered podcasts in their network, including shows about prayer, Bible study, parenting, and more.
Precious metals dealers come and go. This is Nick Grovich, president of AmFed Coin and Bullion. We've stood the test of time since 1983. With the flurry of coin and bullion dealers coming and going, how do you know who to trust and what to buy? At AmFed Coin and Bullion, we value educated consumers. We want to alert you to good bullion buys in the market and help you steer clear of the tricks and bad deals. Call AmFed Coin and Bullion for a free coin performance review. 800-221-7694 or AmericanFederal.com.